Yeah, so I grew up in a family of 6 kids. I was the youngest and I was a serious afterthought. When I look back, my enduring memory is of food. There was always food, there was always raiding of the fridge. Everyone was busy, you know, whether it's sport or, but we all came back together at dinner time. And I actually had the job of ringing the bell because it was, you know, a tribe and you need to get all 8 to the table.
Occasionally Simon would go missing and she'd have to go looking for him, and she found that he was going door to door visiting the neighbours and just having cups of tea with old people and chatting with them.
Look, the elephant in the room is my accent, my Kiwi twang. It's Simon, not Simon, and you know, I get a bit of a hard time for it. We're all a product of who we are, and you know, and where we've come from, and for me, that's as a proud Westie, I'm not changing it. I think it sort of is what it is, and you know, it's what makes me who I am, and makes me the New Zealander that I am. I change the nappies, not as often as Natalie, I have to confess.
He's actually got a lot better at that over time too. I think once you have 3, you don't have a choice really. Simon is surprisingly domestic actually. When he is at home, he really gets stuck in and he helps. He's particularly good at dishes and laundry, sometimes to my annoyance because he's quite obsessed with it. But
it's just so important to me that I am connecting. Jemima has a real sense of me and me of her.
He's so into it and so actually captivated by his children.
Think about Harry growing up as a young toddler when he would literally store food in his mouth for an hour or 2 and would come back and would give him a peanut butter sandwich and it would still sort of be there up in his gums. There's this perception, I think, that on the right of politics we don't care as much as on the left, and it's always struck me as a deep injustice actually. You know, I think about, you know, who I am and where I've come from, everything about my upbringing, from, you know, the house I lived in to my father's work as a minister and the social work that he did, and you know, I care deeply. I have a deep sense of justice,
and I think that's a real reflection of who he is as a husband, as a dad, as a politician. You know, he's an encourager. He wants to see people do their absolute best, and I think he wants to create an environment and be part of helping to create a country in which people can feel that they do have the opportunities and can get ahead under their own steam.
We want to be practical, we want to be solution oriented, really thinking through our policies, our plans, to make sure that New Zealand in the 2020s is the most compassionate, the best place of opportunity for every single New Zealander.